Alright folks and YouTube, this is going to be a shorter stream tonight. We're just following up with the results from yesterday's Modern Prelim with very small alterations to the list. We're back to 6 turn 1 mana accelerating creatures. I've liked the birds back in the list so much that I went ahead and I added a couple of Gilded Gooses. Other than that, the mana base is relatively the same. I cut some of the greedier things. We're down to just one filter land. I'm not playing the other filters. And we're playing a couple Copperline Gorge just to make the mana flow and not be as painful. We're also playing a Cavern of Souls since many of the creatures in our deck are of the same tribe, right? They're going to be human. The second most is Shaman, followed by Cleric. But those you rarely name. You're almost always going to be naming human. Because this entire side of the deck, this whole section here, this is all human, and several of our sideboard cards are also humans. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we've been really liking the Wild Bonder Kenrith. I have several different screenshots of board states that I don't know if the other builds of this deck that we've had could actually win. Here's one example. This was me. Granted, this wasn't during the preliminary. This was in the 2v2 queue. So this was us up against a rock deck. And you'll notice, look at how many cards are left in their library. They only have 30 cards left. This is turn 9 where we got them. And I actually made a misplay earlier in the game. I had the opportunity maybe to perhaps to protect the Winota with a Ranger Knight of Eos. But despite my mistake, the deck managed to pull off a win. You see we have a combination here of Legion Loyalist, which is the 1-drop that we can tutor for off of Ranger that gives all of our creatures first strike and trample. The trample being most relevant here because we also off of Winota Trigger spiked the Wild Bonder, and actually the combination of we actually didn't even need the mirror entity here. I think it was lethal anyway. They were sitting at like 14 life or something, and we put them to -17 here despite a lifelinker and such. And part of that is due to the first strike, right? Because they wouldn't gain the life with the Lurrus. But let me show you though. This was just a card that I was trying as a meme, to be perfectly honest, the Proud Wild Bonder, but actually this has really opened up a lot of board states that were previously unwinnable for us, because there's a few different decks that are going to produce enough blockers that we just can't handle. This card in tandem with the Legion Loyalist or Kenrith just lets us swing through and just go straight for our opponent's life total. The first ability on Kenrith, the Return King, is what we're really interested in. That's for 1 red. We can make all creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. Funny enough, that also affects my opponent's creatures, but that's irrelevant. It would just be fun if we accidentally activated it for our opponents, right, during their turn. Other than that, we've got a few other utility anthems. The Blade Historian probably being the most powerful. This is just attacking creatures we control. We'll have double strike, so thus essentially doubling our damage output. The Heron's Grace Champion paints all of our humans with lifelink and +1/+1 until end of turn. This one seems like it would be the weakest, but actually it's very, very helpful because since we're not doing an Angras Marauders build, which is what you guys might be used to as a Winota Joiner or Forces build, that kind of gives us a life buffer. Other than that, we've got our tutors, we're doing Eldritch Evolution, and actually the Fauna Shaman is back. We've got enough creatures that I think it's fine. We're at 36 creatures. Counting the Dried Arbor and such. So we actually have enough creatures, I think, that the Fauna Shaman is perfectly fine. Most of our sideboard cards, except for a few cards, are all creatures, which, I mean, makes sense in an Eldritch Evolution deck that, we want to utilize our sideboard slots to mostly be other bullets, silver bullets that we can get. So let's go ahead and jump in to another league. Coming off of that, some recent wins with the deck and also the preliminary. We've got a lot of play points, so I'm hoping to ride that for a while and we don't have to put any money in, which would be nice. We haven't needed too much lately, but yeah. So let's play. Let's play a league. I'm pretty confident with the current build. I was really unsure about the mana base until recently. Was really unsure about what other tutors that we were going to use besides the Eldritch Evolutions. We bounced around a bunch of different tutors, everything from Eladamri's Call to Fauna Shaman, and I think I'm happier with Fauna Shaman. Oops, because it one of the major reasons why is it it's both a creature that also can be sacrificed for the Eldritch Evolution, and it's a creature that's a non-human, which is really important. We need a certain density of non-humans. So while we're queued and waiting for our first round opponent, our numbers are actually really good now. Most everything in the deck, if it's not a land, it's a creature, right? Except for the Eldritch Evolutions. But I think that's a fine concession because this is arguably the best tutor for this archetype. Most everything... It really does balance out nicely. We're actually at an even 18 and 18 with this current build. It looks like 18 non-humans, 18 actual humans, 4 Eldritch. So the deck has really been flowing quite nicely. Going to say good luck and have fun to my opponent here, and that looks good. All right, awesome. Did a fresh reload of I think we can keep this. It's a little bit light on red sources, but as in has no red sources. Cavern and Gilded Goose are kind of red sources. We'll keep. This isn't a bad opener. I think it's fine. If you're curious what the deleted message was, it's spam. There's some spam in the was some spam in the chat. Let's actually lead Birds of Paradise. I think that's exactly what we want to do here. Let's go ahead and do that. Exploring. It's been so long since I've heard Moto sounds. I think for the nostalgia, I'll just leave it on. Alright, we would really, really love a... I mean, there's not much I can do other than go wide here. Like, Canopy, Goose, play Giver, set up for the Winota. I think that really is the best we can do. We don't have to take any damage here. There's no reason to. So depending on what their last 2 cards are, they might be going off this very turn, and that's a turn faster than us, huh? My hope is that it's not lethal, but I think it will be if they know what they're doing, because they should be able to copy the Sunhome. But let's see what they're able to pull off here. This gives me a second to fix one thing in the interface. I kind of want this down here, and I want it bigger, I think. than it has been in the past. I think I like that. Alright. That's a good sign if they're getting Talaria West, I think. And only hitting us for 8. Now, we pretty much have to hit exactly Magus of the Moon, though. Off of these triggers. Like, we kind of have to swing with the Giver even, I think. So we have to hit Magus. I don't have a tutor other than just these 3 Winota triggers. And we're actually not even going to get that many, right? Because the bird has to pay for Winota. I don't see another way. So let's correctly name human here. Let's go white, red. So we're only going to get 2 triggers. We're only going to get 12 looks deep, and we need to see the exactsies. We need to see precisely Magus of the Moon. If Magus of the Moon is in the top 12, we might win. If not, we lose. So we'll play to that out. So we're gonna throw the Giver of Runes under the Primeval Titan bus. I think I should grab this Winota because A, this has trample. B, if we hit the life linker, it's relevant. Alright, needs to be Magus of the Moon right here. We did not. So we should be dead because they're going to be able to give themselves trample. Double strike with the Sun Home. So we are toast here, unfortunately. Hopefully you guys are having a nice Tuesday today. All right. So we are dead. Now against Titan, things that I like are, I like Vandal because we can kill their amulet with that. Other things that are interesting to think about in this match, there's not many, right? It's like, it's pretty much just Collector Oath is interesting because it shuts off. They have usually 3 copies of engineered explosives against us post board. So like Revoker, Vandal, Oath, these, well, of course, Vandal doesn't really help us against engineered explosives often. Usually they'll have enough mana to play it and pop it since they're a big mana deck. To make things more complicated, Skyclave is a little bit too slow. Ooze is irrelevant basically here. They're kind of an all or nothing damage, so you don't actually need Heron's Grace. I might be more interested in Ranger Captains to find Legion Loyalists because the trample can be very important. They are going to have relevant blockers. So let's leave in Mirror Entity and Blade Historian. Let's leave in the trample package that is Legion Loyalist, Bonder, Kenrith, the Return King for his first ability. So let's leave in all of this. Obviously, we're going to leave in Magus of the Moon. This is the thing that we're going to be trying to tutor for, but I think these other 3 are relevant for this matchup, and it's good to have some more 2-drops coming in. They do have Dismember, but I think Giver of Runes is just more mana efficient. I think I'm happier with this. Obviously, Spellskite is interesting because they are a Valakut deck to think about. It's a bit of a non-bow with Collector Oath. If we wanted to include the Spellskite to fight over Dismember, we'd have to cut like a Ranger to do that. Might be worth doing. I think other than that, you know, Toski and such is too slow. Teague doesn't stop all that much. I actually don't think it stops anything in their current builds, but I could be wrong. Oh, it does stop engineered explosives. Actually, I might be more interested in that than either 4th Shaman or 3rd Ranger. I forgot that, yeah, this is also a way to stop, obviously, engineered explosives. So I think we want all the different ways to stop that card. So I think we're more afraid of explosives than we are of dismember. So let's run it back. Amulet Titan can be tough for us because they're kind of just, you know, all in, just trying to do their thing. This opener is not great. It's not all that slow because, you know, it's going to be Goose into Shaman into ditch the Loyalist, go get Winota. Maybe we, at some point, can grab a Dried Arbor off of one of these green fetches. I mean, I'm tempted to look for a hand that has, instead of, you know, this many lands, but I think we'll keep it because I can turn one of these into the Dried Arbor. So let's lead Canopy, I think. Hey, how's it going, Jade? Good evening to you, too. I just saw a game that made me think of you earlier today. It was an idle game that's for free. I'll have to remember the name of it, but it's like an RPG idle game that kind of made me think of you, your kind of taste. I think since we don't know what things we're fetching for yet, what other lands we might be seeing this game, I'm gonna just lead on the Horizon Canopy. We don't want to play out the Legion Loyalist because we may need that as something to pitch with Shaman. Okay, so we just drew a forest. If we're okay using up the food already, we would... I think that's foolish. I think I'm just going to play Fauna Shaman, say go. Could even play the Cavern of Souls already. Or, like, you know, Windswept for Plains. I think I'm going to play Cavern, actually. Not because we care about the can't be countered, but because we're still going to name human, actually. Because this is fixing us into all 3 different colors that we need for all the other humans in our deck. You're playing 3 different ones? My goodness. Now, weaknesses about Fauna Shaman. I know I've been speaking this card's, you know, usefulness, right? Weaknesses, of course. I might just want to go ahead and discard and take care of the amulet. They haven't played a second one. It's probably correct. It's unfortunate that we've drawn this many lands. It really, really is. I think we have to discard the Loyalist and go get an answer to the amulet. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to go get here is... And the cool thing is Fauna Shaman has great synergy for Masked Vandal, because Masked Vandal needs you to have a creature in the graveyard. So, you know... We could also take care of the Dryad, but I'm going to get rid of the amulet instead. But this, of course, being an enchantment creature, technically was another thing for Masked Vandal to hit. We really, really need to draw some creatures. We may crack the Horizon Canopy to... this looks like Transmute. This might be them going to get an Engineered Explosives. That's what they grab. Remember, I told you that this is something really important for us to answer in this matchup. I'm really hoping to draw a creature. We'll go get an answer to shut off the Engineered Explosives. Okay, so we drew an Eldritch Evolution. We could Eldritch the Masked Vandal and attack with the bird and the shaman and just try to hit some stuff. I did not hit a creature. The engineered explosives won't be that bad if I go get Winota because it'll split up our distribution of converted mana costs. So I think for all the reasons I just stated, I think that we could justify Eldritching the Vandal. They might have a Dismember, but I think that's what we go. You should put Dryad in your Walker list. Yeah. Yeah, fix your colors, it blocks. This card's really insane. This card's really good. You just throw some Valakutes in there somewhere, Jade. Yeah. I'll let them know we're thinking. The other line that I have is I could crack the Horizon Canopy hoping for a creature and we go get an answer to the explosives, but I just don't think that's wise. I think we should just go with Winota. Actually, even better, let's play the Wooded Foothills and just get Dryad Arbor during their end step, I think. So we're going to Eldritch the Masked Vandal. We don't need it because since it's all creature types, including human, this actually wouldn't trigger Winota. And I'd rather keep the Fauna Shaman anyway, but just trying to explain to you guys why we chose that over this. This has already also done its useful thing, right? There's also Magus of the Moon to consider, right? We could just moon them. We do have... I should have grabbed another basic if that was going to be my plan. I think I just want a Winota. But that might actually be wrong what I just did there. They do get to kill our Fauna Shaman off of their Dryad, so like maybe this is completely wrong. Actually, let's go ahead and fetch for the Dryad Arbor now, because if I do hit the Magus of the Moon anyway, I'll feel really silly. Alright, so our choices are Bonder or Peasy. I might just want to take the Spyro because our hand is nothing. Our hand is really weak here, so let's ditch these 2 lands and get some more gas. Or find 2 more lands, wow. So we've got some choices here. We can stop them from playing the Engineered Explosives this way with this Ranger, Captain of Eos. I didn't think about us hitting Rangers, especially since I cut some. But we can silence them from non-creature spells next turn. It's very tempting to take the Mirror Entity, but I'm going to take Ranger, and I'm going to go search up Legion Loyalist. Of course, if they had Dismember, they would have already used it, so they don't have it. Did I cut the Loyalist? Oh, you know what? I discarded it and exiled it to the... That's really funny. I guess I should just grab Gilded Goose or Giver of Runes. Against Titan, I might even just rather have the food. Not that Giver is irrelevant. Actually, I am going to take Giver. So they'll block and kill Fauna Shaman here. But that's okay. We'll silence them during their upkeep. So I do need to put a stop on their upkeep. So unfortunate to lose the Fauna Shaman. Yeah, exactly. It's gone now. It's also an enchantment for... Oh, yeah, you play Eidolon of Blossoms. That's right, Jade. So that would be synergistic, since they're both enchantments. So they are going to Summoner's Pact before my silence goes off. But we're not going to see that Engineered Explosives. Their deck is a lot less scary when they don't have the Amulet. That was really good that we were just have a card to just straight up answer Amulet that's very mana efficient in the form of Masked Vandal. It was really good that we could just answer that card. Ooh, but I don't have a Spellskite, so the Dryad Valakut Wombo is actually just going to end us here, right? They're going face with these? I think that's a bit disrespectful. They should have killed Winota. Do they have another land to play? Ah, that's why. Never mind, not disrespect. It's just lethal. I thought they'd already played their extra land, so we're actually just dead. We have to beat them game 3. Oh no, sorry, I thought we won game 1. So we actually just lose the match there. That's unfortunate. I do think that we picked the correct targets, I should say, because we chose... What did we choose? We brought in Vandal. We used it to remove the Amulet of Vigor. And I think that's correct because they would have been much, much, much faster if we hadn't. Granted, they still pieced together their thing, right? In the end, they had Summoner's Pact and they had the Engineered Explosives. We played in such a way to defeat the Engineered Explosives, right, by... we ended up getting a Ranger off of Winota. We really would have rather seen, like, obviously, like, the Magus of the Moon and such. That's okay. Titan is tough for us. They are a combo deck. They're faster than us. They have draws that are faster than our draw. We're more like a fair deck that kind of has a weird pseudo combo finish. So it's not uncommon for us to lose to Titan when they have a fast draw, like we saw game 1, game 2. They had relevant sideboard cards that we had to kind of play around. So I couldn't really do my most quick kill either. This opener seems great. It's a turn 2 birds. Obviously, we didn't win the dice roll, which in Modern it's pretty important to win some of the dice rolls throughout the league. Swamp, take my thing. Swamp, do nothing. What are the odds that... do we want to lead Giver, honestly? Actually, I have plenty of lands. I think I'll still just lead birds. They'll probably Fatal Push it, but I think I'd actually rather have double Giver against a Fatal Push deck than I would the birds. And if we can get the birds to eat a removal spell, I think I'm happy. And they're not a Lurrus deck, though. This could be 8-rack. Like, look at their choice in Swamp, right? Look at the fact that there's no Lurrus. Oh, they're Jund. Never mind. Now, since I led Copperline Gorge, I don't get to go Giver, but maybe that's okay. Let's go basic plains here. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering maybe if I should have led Giver. This Copperline's really messing up. It would have been really great to play 2 Givers here. So I think I messed up in that I should have gone maybe Windswept fetch for Stomping Ground. Or not Stomping Ground, sorry, Temple Garden. And then fixed us into the... it would have been really painful to do that. Or I guess my third land would have been the Copperline, right? It would have been fetch for a white source, fetch for a white source, play a Copperline. Either way, that would have been a lot of... okay, we just drew Foundry, so that's actually better. I'm going to kill my Giver. Okay, that's fine. We'll grind it out. I think against Jund, I might actually just keep the other Spyro, although they might have like a hand disruption spell. Let's shock this in, and we do need another green source, but let's Spyro the... I do want to make 1 elemental, right? Or do I just want to make sure that we don't flood? I might just want to ditch the 2 lands and just make sure that we have lots of gas, because it is Jund. Like, having the tokens is tempting and is nice. I think I just want to make sure that we have gas. So our hand is all gas now. Like, we're going to make some different decisions against Jund than I would other decks. Other decks, I probably want 1, maybe even both elementals. I'll take another 3. We got life points to work with. Another Tarmogoyf. They're missing land drops. Okay, so this might be the time to just play another... I was considering playing Ranger and then getting the Dryad, but against Jund, it's like they could just kill it, so... But maybe we'd be happy if they did. I think I'm going to pitch Giver. Although the first Giver is nice, we can also protect Winota with the Ranger Knight. So I kind of just want to keep our haymakers. We'll kick it back to the opponent. We're kind of ready to go off if we can find a green source. Now I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't play Ranger last turn and go fetch for Dryad Arbor. So that would give us the second green source that we needed. They do hit their 3rd land finally, so that opens up everything from Colligan's Command to Liliana. I am at 11. I may want to block. Now let's go down to 5. Obviously there's things like Lightning Bolt to worry about. but another Tarmogoyf, but maybe there's a Fatal Push. We drew Fauna Shaman. So they can't actually Fatal Push my Winota here if we just go for it, but I don't have the green necessary. Jun does have quite a bit of sorcery, some amount of sorcery speed interaction. It might be even correct to, no, that's not true. We're gonna Ranger. We're gonna go get the Dryad Arbor. Play it, and we're going to kick it back. We'll have to do some blocks that I would rather not have to do next turn. Now here's the decision. Do we silence them now, or do we block the Goyfs that we have to, and then try to silence them on the turn that we can go? I don't think we really have enough. Like, I'm going to be blocking with 2 Spyros, right? But then what am I evolving? So we're kind of in a not great position here. Let's let them go to combat first. If they... I think I have to kind of hedge here and hope that they let me block with the range. Like, we hope that they do combat first. It looks like that's what they're deciding not to do. We're going to see a Bloodbraid. Now, in response to the Bloodbraid, I could crack the Ranger, and it stops quite a few of the things they could hit off of this card. Is that worth silencing, or would I rather be able to block with the Ranger, you know? I think I just have to hope that it's not... I mean, there's a lot of different things... Yeah, it might be correct to just counter this. Granted, they might hit a creature here and we'll feel really silly. Inquisition would have taken our evolution, so I'm actually really glad I made that decision. Does it help me? It slows me down a little bit, Jade. To share the lines of thought with you guys. But I think... So we do have to do some pretty aggressive blocking here. And we might have to set up another turn, right? I mean, that would involve, like... this is an interesting block. I think we're just going to lose, honestly, because I have to consider blocking like this. So that would... One Spyro will trade with the Bloodbraid. These two are just chumps. We don't have anything left over after that to Eldritch. If I do this instead, we kind of have the same problem of, okay, I could get Winota, but I don't have any creatures to attack with, like this is my green source. It's really sad to see us crumble like this. I think we have to block more aggressively. So there's this block as well, where this would kill a Goyf. I mean, we're dead to, like, Lightning Bolt and such, but we... Like, this block kills this Goyf, this is a chump, this is a chump, we kill this Bloodbraid, next turn I play Spyro, and we're just still chumping. I don't think that's a viable option. This almost seems more correct, but I have to draw a green source to play the evolution. I get one Winota trigger at... And then what are we hoping for, right? I feel like we have more options if I kill off a Goyf, right? If I kill off a Goyf... So, chump, trade... I mean, we're not losing everything on this Goyf, right? He'll probably leave the Spyro alone. So that's something to think about, is this block, although it looks really aggressive, they probably kill the Elemental and the Arbor, leave the Spyro alone. So we'll still have a Spyro at the end of this exchange. I think I have to do that. It stinks, but... Our draw really wasn't what we needed here, I think. So they're reordering. They want to leave me with an Elemental, actually. Okay. I think that's fine, too. Actually, that's probably the better block for them to do, to leave me with the Elemental, not the Spyro. Yeah, it's 3 damage, sorry. They can kill the Arbor and the Spyro. Let's go down to 2. We're dead to Call Against Command, Decay. So we actually did draw the green source, the Wooded Foothills. We could get a forest and still be alive. But anyway, so we're going to play the Spyro. I'm not going to play this land yet because we could get a different land. They have 2 basics, so I think the Madness of the Moon is moot, and I think we ditched the Fauna Shaman as well because the evolution's kind of our only hope. We, I mean, we're dead if their last card is Bolt or Call Against Command anyway, so let's just go ahead and fetch down to 1. We'll play the Gilded Goose. Alright. So we rebuilt our board okay. I don't really see much point to attack with Elemental, but how are we blocking? We're going to block Elemental, right? So actually, maybe I should just swing, get in that 1 point. Hey, what's up, Corpsey? How's it going? Show me Lightning Bolt. K-Command. Bloodbraid Elf into those cards. Actually, we're even dead to, like, Ren and 6. So there's lots of cards. Since we're at 1, we're dead to Ren and 6. There's so many different cards that they can just kill us with here. It'd be really something else if we managed to get this win, right? So I think we have to block with our elementals. Do I have an EDH or Paper Legacy? I do have a Tin Fins deck, crazy. I sold out of my commander lists many years ago at this point. Maybe 5 years. You think what you've learned? Yes, Spyro is indeed an insane Magic card. They passed to us. Huh. They have 2 cards, and they decided not to do them. Are they just, like, slow-rolling it because they want to see what we're doing? I mean, it's not really a mystery. We're Winota. And I don't think the knowledge is going to necessarily change a ton of how they sideboard. I mean, maybe they have, like, a Grafdigger's Cage or 2, and so very clever of our opponent to make it seem like we're not dead, right? But let's Eldritch this and just try to do our thing. I mean, if they have Fatal Push, they can crack their Nurturing Peatland and still kill the Winota. Show me that play. I mean, they can't have 2 cards of complete nothing. I would be very surprised. Oh, okay. I mean, are they just slow rolling a bolt? I don't know what they're up to. So looks like we have some choices here to make. So there's another Winota or Blade of Storm. We're going to pick Blade of Storm. We need the Winota to stay back as a blocker if we're going to win this. And I need to hit something on this second trigger. Spyro is one of the better hits. So it gives us a blocker. Ranger Captain of Eos also works because it gives me something I can tutor for. So I have to pick Bonder. If I pick... Sorry, I have to pick Pyromancer. If I pick Bonder, we lose, so I don't have enough blockers. So we'll Spyro, and we hope that this draws us... So this is going to make 1 elemental, and we really hope that this draws us into, like, a Giver of Runes. We'd even take Legion Loyalist. I just have to play more creatures. There's still so many things we die to off the top of my opponent's deck. Okay, we drew Heron's Grace. Interesting. The Goyfs grow, so we're going to lose the Winota, but we'll be able to flash in the Grace. I don't think there's any point to me playing the Windswept Heath, and I want to have something I could discard in the case of, like, Liliana. I mean, if they keep bricking and keep drawing irrelevant stuff over there, they might still just be, hey, what's up, Botlike47? Welcome back. Good to see your name in there again. Yeah, so... They might literally just be slow rolling us this whole time just to try to get more information out of us. Like they may have had. I find it hard to believe that they don't have, as a Jund deck, they don't have a way to deal 1 point of damage. I find that rather difficult to believe. Do you guys have a little bit of a rivalry going on, Jade? You and Bot like? A friendly rivalry, of course, I'm sure. I do have a board game hangout with a dear friend of mine tonight, but it's late, so I am hoping to finish a full league well before that time. Two Tragedies. You sound so familiar. Tragedies, didn't you do like the card hoarder tournament with me back way back when I thought I was going to be dipping my toes into Magic commentary? Skytrax? Yeah. You had the really like innovative we almost killed them there. Gosh. We put them to 6 and then we might still just lose, huh? There's so many things I lose to. Like, I lose to a removal spell. They're going to crack the Peatland, right? I lose to just, like, normal, like... There's so... Like, I lose to their whole deck now, right? Because we didn't hit more blockers. Like, it's not just burn spells anymore. I'm dead to virtually most every card in my opponent's deck, right? Also played a lot of legacy decks. Show me... Yep, that'll do it. So they had an Abrupt Decay. We almost crawled back out of this. Maybe I could have blocked their Tarmogoyfs more aggressively earlier in the game. I wonder if we had the ability to block and trade with a Goyf earlier in the game at some point. So that's just too bad. I am curious what our next card was. Just a land, okay. We're only running 21 lands. That was a lot of land for us to see. When it comes to Jund, it's kind of interesting how we sideboard. We don't play Grace. I might not even bother with Magus just because they're a Lightning Bolt deck. You can sometimes get them. This is a maybe. Definitely Toski because it turns to a grind. The Mana Dorks I'm less interested in. Dryad Arbor is a bit of a liability. Spellskite's great. Revoker's interesting to think about. It stops Ren and 6, which we actually do care about. You can stop a Liliana. Scavenging Ooze, although we'll still be playing our own, probably. I might not have room for the cutesy trample stuff. Kenrith is still good. Legion Loyalist could stay, but maybe like the Wild Bond. I mean, like, yes, we want to be able, when we go off, we want to be able to swing through their blockers and just kill them. So I'd like to keep some of this package, but we'll move it into the sideboard and still look at some of else that we have. So we have Veil of Summer, great against Jund because it's going to stop both the hand disruption and it's also going to stop their black removal, which is everything. In addition to Terminate, they showed us that they have a Terminate. It's going to stop even Assassin's Trophy because that's also black. I'm interested in the Glyph Weaver because they're not playing Luris, so I would assume that their sideboard could have anything and everything from Anger of the Gods to Damnation. So let's play Glyph Weaver, and let's also, for similar reasons, we're going to play the Burrington Forge Tender as a tutor target for our Ranger Captains. Even though I may not play all of the Ranger Captains, we may slim on these. Other than that, you could play Abolisher to stop removal, specifically on Winota. We go bigger than Jund, converted mana cost-wise, with our creatures. So we could play Favor of the Mighty. They do go as big as 4 because they're playing Bloodbraid Elf, but we don't really care. All we want is to be able to give Winota protection, so I don't really care. That would be a reason why I might not even want to play Kenrith, because this can actually, if we have Favor of the Mighty, let me read this card to you guys. You might not remember this one. So this is a tribal enchantment for giants. 1 colorless, 1 white mana. Each creature with the highest mana value has protection from all colors. This seems like a really weird card, right? But it's actually one of the best cards in our sideboard in the current meta. Since everybody's really small because they're all trying to incorporate Luris into their decks, we go bigger than that. We go as high as CMC 4 and 5. Let's still play the Trample package. We can't cut all of our birds, so I'm still going to play at least 2. I'm not going to play the Magus of the Moon. I just don't think it's good enough. You could play Teague because Teague is going to stop specifically, you know, Damnation. But that's about all that it stops that I need it to stop, so we're not going to play it. I really shouldn't keep this 1-lander because if they kill birds, this hand does nothing. I really don't like to mulligan much against Jund. And this is, if you're wondering, one of the more difficult matchups, admittedly, for us. This hand, we probably have to get rid of Ranger because since this opener has Forest. I mean, granted, we're still the same number of colors away, though, from the Winotas. Actually, let's keep this 6, and I'm going to put the Winota back. And I think I'm going to search up... I don't know what I'm supposed to search up yet with this Wooded, but I don't want to take a ton of damage. So I'm probably going to go get Sacred Foundry, even knowing I need another green source, even knowing that we need another white source, right? I think it's still correct. Have we tried Voice? Oh, we did play Voice. I missed your comment, Equinox. Forgive me. So we did try Voice. We've moved away from the card. It's fine in this archetype. We've played it on and off. I think it's especially good once Counterspell comes out from Modern Horizons 2. Oh, Equinox with the Twitch Prime sub. Thanks, friend. Welcome to the Jeskai clan, apparently. I feel like that's one of our older animations. Thank you so much for that support, friend. I appreciate you, Equinox. Even though I missed your comment, you subbed. I feel really bad now. Just leaving the fetch untouched. Couldn't it be worth skipping fetching there to try to maximize the chances? Oh, yes. Yes, it could have. I didn't want to take... And maybe that's silly of me against Jund to, like, care too much about my life total. Because, like, now, right, we need to find, you know, like, you're literally seeing one of the things I am concerned with in this deck is that we're a double green, double red, double white mana base. It's so tough on us, right? I mean, pretty much any land we draw is going to turn on one of these 3 cards. We really want these to be what's turned on, though. We really want to see anything but the other forest, right? The other forest is exactly what I drew, though, of course. Of course it is. Of course it is. That's like the one land I did not want to see because pretty much everything else is a duel. I would have even taken the basic plains because I could have played Ranger. Oh, that's really sad. Jeskai Clan, what year is this? I think Jeskai Ascendancy could still be a deck. I think I've seen a couple people playing it, but... I mean, there are other combos that are more prevalent now. They're sitting in your binder collecting dust. Oof. And then a Lily. What am I ditching? The Evolution? As weird as that might seem, because it's like the one thing I can actually cast, but I think I am. Maybe that's wrong. Sweet. We're good again. We are good again. So we're going to lead with Spyro and just try to cycle into some stuff. This is going to be a protection from all colors threat, and I found a bunch of land. That's not good. Even if our deck wasn't bricking like this, the Jund matchup is difficult. They attack us, excuse me, on 2 angles. So just like yes, we're kind of a weird pseudo combo deck, but we are, you know, just like all the different creature combos of the format. And in fairness to our nonsense, Jund also has a reasonable match, arguably even favorable. I was talking to a green-black rock player just last night. We played in the duo queues. Tarmogoofy. All right. They were saying that Rock is actually very well positioned against Heliod as long as their opponent doesn't draw like a bunch of companies, right? Pyromancer's great here. Let's go ahead and play this out. We already have all our colors. I might even just go ahead and grab Giant Arbor. Obviously, that They might be tempted to ping it with their Ren and 6, but I think that's fine. I think it's fine. Oh, you know what? I took it out, so no, never mind. That's okay. We're good on colors, right? I can just grab like a plains here. Actually, let's do it like this. Oops. We're gonna Spyro again. And you're seeing that like I have protection from all colors Spyros. Okay, we drew Cavern. I might want to hold this bird because I do have Fauna Shamans in this new build. We might want to pressure the Lily. I think we do. I think I'm more afraid of the Lily. I mean, they're both going to ultimate, but we assume that this Ren and 6 is going to start down-ticking on these elemental tokens, right? So let's go after Liliana the Veil with our Spyro. Let's not play our bird. Have I been looking at the spoilers? I have. Yeah, I think there's quite... I mean, like, Grief, of course, is what everybody's talking about. We're going to favor a token? Sure. The blue version is also pretty good. Of Grief? Hmm? What are you talking about? Oh, I don't think I've seen Subtlety yet. It's Corpsey. You have to link it to me. That sounds cool. So it's like another evoke something. Are they going to do a full cycle of those? Those could like spark, not like full archetypes, but I think I'd rather have birds than a Cavern of Souls. So we're going to just discard Cavern to this Liliana activation. It's force for creatures and planeswalkers. What? That's like all that Modern is about these days, right? Isn't it? Not really, but fascinating. Well, obviously it's not like it's not. Oh, it has flash though. It does have flash. Oh, that's fascinating. That is a cool card. Oh, we just drew a plains. Come on, deck. Come on. So we can get the Liliana off the table, supposedly. Unless they're, like, killing Favor here. If they kill Favor here, we're probably screwed anyway, right? I really need this to stay on the table. They might have, like, an Abrupt Decay or an Assassin's Trophy for this, but I think we have to hope that they don't. So let's try to get her off the table. Leave the Elemental back. Hope that they don't kill my Favor and then block my Spyros and probably win the game. That would be unfortunate for us. Looks like they don't have it. Does combo nicely with Force and Negation. I still don't really want to play out the Birds of Paradise. It doesn't really add anything to us at this point. Unless we hit like a Winota off the top. But I'm more likely to draw Fauna Shamans, even still. Fauna Shamans. Our clocks are comparable to our opponent's clock. We're actually almost neck and neck time-wise. So let's keep hitting those hotkeys. Keep making sure that we keep up with their clock. For those of you that don't play Magic Online, it's a chess clock. Essentially, you know, when they're dialing down their clock, when they're thinking, when they're the active player, my clock isn't going. Oh shoot, did I not pressure the Ren and 6 enough? I didn't realize it was about to ultimate. I should have hit Lily and hit Ren and 6. I thought I had one more turn on the Ren and 6, so I actually may have just made us lose. My bad. We're going to lose protection on the Spyros after this hits the table. I may have just made us lose because they have the Ren and 6 emblem. That was my bad. This is a lot of damage. Even if I top deck a Winota, I don't have any non-humans on the table, so I think we're just dead, as we usually are. I have a pretty poor win rate against Jund. I'm very thankful that it's not the popular green-black X. They take my bird, sure. The more popular green-black X is the Rock. And I think my matchup against the Rock is probably better. So that's a loss, right? What am I doing? Pass the turn, block on the Goyfs. That's really sad that we just hit a bunch of land. And I've slimmed on the number of lands we're playing. I'm only playing 21. And I even sided out a land and a bunch of our mana dorks against them, just hoping to draw action. We're actually just dead on the spot here. Because they have two Blood Braids I can't block. Because I have to block the Goyfs too since we're at 5. Good games. That's a little disappointing, but... let's see if we can get some better matchups. Amulet Titan can be faster than us. Jund attacks us from multiple angles. And I would argue that that's what it takes to beat what we're doing here, right? They either need to be faster or they need to have multiple angles on us. Decks that have multiple angles on us are everything from Esper to decks like Jund. I do think that Green Black Rock falls into that category, but they, since they're not also on Terminate, they're mostly just on Fatal Push, right? So I can kind of maneuver the Winota a little bit better around the decks that are only Fatal Push. And I'm actually very thankful that the latest Esper Control builds are only playing Fatal Push. Again, we can kind of... it's actually more likely against them than it is Green Black Rock that they'll have a Fatal Push that can't go as big as CMC4. So just because the Rock has Bauble and Fetches, Esper Control actually only has Fetches and like blocking with a Snapcaster Mage or like a Spirit. What are the good matchups then? Oh, I want to be playing against other degenerate stuff. I want to be playing against Heliod. We want to be playing against... although if they have a fast draw, we lose to them too. I don't know. I mean, we've been playing this for 3 weeks, Equinox, so I would argue I also don't... I know some of our like really, really tough matchups. I don't know necessarily all of our best matchups. I can win... I've won against most every deck in the format. We actually like to see Tron, because I can just tutor up like Magus of the Moon turn 2, so Eldrazi Tron, normal Tron. I've found that we actually do like to see them. We want to play against decks that dirtle? No, actually, I don't think we do. Like, Esper Control is actually... I mean, it's a little easier since I've been adding, like, slowly but surely back in things like Toski and Veil. I'm testing, like, an Abolisher, Spellskite. So, like, I'm doing little things to try to make us better against the Junds and the Espers of the format. I am going to keep this opener. We need to see something that's higher CMC. Otherwise, I'll just be Eldritching like my Birds or my Legion Loyalist, but... oh, okay, so this is Belcher. Or this is either Belcher or Breach. It's probably Breach, actually. I haven't seen Belcher, Modern Belcher, all that much. Probably this is Blue-Red through the Breach. Do you mean Infinite Life? Oh, Half-Truth. We play to the clock at that point. In other words, like, I'll just try to play quickly. And yes, I will lose the game that they go Infinite Life Half-Truth, but that doesn't mean we win the match. Or lose the match. Does that make sense? And we're back to the ongoing discussion versus Moto. Yeah, it becomes a time game. It becomes about the clock. It doesn't that game, not the match. Just that game becomes about clock, but not the whole match. I might still get Plains. Although they did just demonstrate to me that they're probably Breach. They could even be that weird Kiki build. So maybe my life total doesn't matter too much. It does matter, but not all that much. I think I'd rather just have clean mana. If I get, I think I'd rather get Temple Garden, actually, than Foundry. I mean, I don't have a, Spyro in my hand. Attack for 1. Yeah, I've been really liking these iterations of Winota where we're not playing like the 5 mana, like a play set of the 5 mana Geist, Honored Monks. If I was to do a different build of this, that might be the next thing I'd try. I like this Anthem build with like we're trying to stitch together these synergies versus like Angrass Marauder, Lightning Bolt. Although I think that's good too. Just trying to slow me down, huh? They were a little successful, weren't they? 2 birds down, and I did not see third land. This is maybe a remand, I would imagine. So I think we may be losing this one, folks. My best draw is going to be a white source. So I could play Ranger. This is maybe Cryptic Command. So yeah. Actually, the best card in my deck would be... let's make sure we have all our colors. It's a little painful, but... yeah, best card in our deck would actually be Cavern of Souls. They decide not to do nothing. Yes. We've been missing land drops. Do we want to just grab the Arbor so next turn I can guarantee that I have a land drop and also do something else? It's probably correct, actually. Yeah, like you'd want, in a lot of other situations against them, if we're not missing land drops, you'd want to get the, like a Giver of Runes, but I don't think we have that option. I might even just want to silence them. The problem is against Breach, though, is they could just do it during my end step. So, I mean, I kind of want to silence them, but it's like... I'm kind of just delaying the inevitable, right? This also stops Jace the Mind Sculptor better than all. Serum Visions. I don't think they play Visions anymore, though. I think they just play Ops. They do nothing. Okay, let's attack, and then... I really don't want to evolution into the counterspell they're probably holding. Maybe we just play another Ranger and just hope. This is getting remanded. We're probably dead. I mean, their deck is a 2-card combo, but they play playsets of Breach, playsets of Emrakul. Most of them will be. So I think they've just got it. Oh, show me the Emrakul first. All right. So we do have quite a few cards to come in here. Like I said, we do kind of like to be up against the other combo decks. Sort of. Apparition can go. Magus can go. Some of them are Blood Moon decks themselves. That's pretty common. Heron's Grace can go. We actually don't need the Trample package because they don't really have a lot of blockers. You might see, like, Snapcaster Mage. So this is where Teague is nice. Spellskite's really nice. Abolisher's nice. Burrington's nice. You could even play Favor if you wanted to. I might have room for that as well. Veil of Summer is great. Those are the big cards. If you want other things, you could like cut the Dryad because it's pretty vulnerable in this matchup. Ooze is not all that great, but it does stop. It does mess with Snapcaster Mage. We could cut the Arbor and maybe run Toski or what was the other card we were talking about? Could play the Toski. Could play Glyph Weaver if you want to fight over Anger of the Gods a little bit better. That's probably in their sideboard. Or like Kozilek's Return, maybe. So we probably want this over Toski. I mean, Toski's good, but they're not really a true control deck. They're just trying to control enough. We'll play our Anthem effects though. These two, rarely cut these. I think Ooze can stay. Let's run all our dorks because I do want to come out of the gates fast. Just because they're a Breach deck. They might also be on Madcap. Oh, yeah, they might be on Madcap, so maybe I should have brought in the Vandal. Good point. That would be unfortunate, wouldn't it? Not much I can do about it now. I did not board for it. Let's see. This hand's a little slow, but it does have a Spellskite, so we're going to keep it because it has a sideboard card. I can't really fetch in such a way that plays around Blood Moon all that much, unless we want to get, like, planes here. I think that's not great. Let's just lead Copperline, and we'll make that decision as we see how our lands develop. I don't think they would bring in Blood Moon against us. We showed Mana Dorks. This is a Spell Snare. Spell Snare on my Spellskite. Drew Birds. Okay. Show me Spell Snare. It's probably Opt. It's more likely that this is Opt or Bolt. Looks like it was a Bolt. Is Jeskai Lotus Field a deck? I don't think so. But, I mean, like, neither is our deck, so... I mean, I still follow the philosophy of, like, play what you want to play, right? Bird. I think we're okay getting this mana leaked. This scavenging ooze. This might also just be a remand. It's more likely to be a remand, actually. But this might be a mana leak. I think we're happy to get that countered because we might get to stick the Winota. Would love to see, like, Cavern of Souls, of course, but... This looks like Archmage's Charm. Something else. Is this Blood Moon? Blood Moon actually doesn't stop us. Is this Anger of the Gods? That's also not the worst for us. If they're just using it to kill a birds, it's not the worst. I mean, there's a couple things this could be that are not great for us. This could be Prismari Command. Looks like it's Prismari Command, actually. Kill creature, kill artifact. I can redirect, I think, or no, I can't, can I? I'm trying to remember how this works with, like, Kolaghan's Command. I actually don't think I can save the bird to the Spellskite because it's already a target. This is like that long discussion with... It's funny, right? Because Kolaghan's Command actually has some of these same exact modes. I think it doesn't work because I can't... since the Spellskite's already a target, I think I can't actually redirect the deal 2 damage to target to the Spellskite as well. Somebody in chat confirm. I'm pretty sure that I don't want to just spend 2 life points if it does nothing. I'm almost positive that I can't change the deal 2 damage target to the Spellskite. It's unfortunate. I mean, like, our next turn's going to be what? Play Ranger, go get... not Loyalist, I guess go get a Dork. Go get, like, Gilded Goose. I don't think there's much point to playing out Winota. I mean, they're tapping out here to do this to us. Anybody know? Go get Giver. I won't have enough white because we had double Copperline Gorge. I won't have the ability to do that because this is white. Anybody know? I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm almost positive. I don't think Spellskite helps us here. Alright, I control a Spellskite. My opponent casts Kolaghan's Command, choosing to destroy Spellskite and another creature. I attempt to redirect the shock for Spellskite. Does it work? Yes, because Spellskite is a legal target for both. Somebody's saying yes. I'm pretty sure it's no, though. But maybe I'm wrong. Yes, unlike something like Arc Trail, where the card specifies another, Kolaghan's Command can choose the same target twice. Although this is my understanding, my opponent refused to accept my citation of the relevant rules, blah, blah, blah. The issue is a combination of the head judge. Okay. How is this different from Electrolyze? Electrolyze uses the word target as 2 targets. So the ruling is wrong. Change a target of a target or spell ability. Kolaghan's Command begins with 1 or 2 modes. Choose destroyed. So the same spell cannot target Spellskite. So technically Spellskite isn't a legal target. This sounds more like what I understand. The spell has multiple instances of the word target. No, Spellskite's a valid target for both target artifact, target creature, or player, so it's perfectly legal to target Spellskite with both modes. Okay. Anybody know for sure? Time to test for science. But, like, it's not even letting me choose which thing. I don't think this actually works. I think we're just... Do I want to change the target targeting Birds of Paradise? Yes. Oh, it actually does work. Sweet. That's hugely relevant. Actually, we could just get Winota now. We could just play Winota and use birds. They don't have enough mana to... Okay, cool. Glad that we looked that up. We do want to get the basic planes here, right? Yes. I'm glad we took the time to look. Spyro. Into another Spyro. Untwisted MTG says, I believe it is legal. Okay, so you were correct. The best kind of correct. Is this kill Winota? Does this anger away my board and make me a sad boy? I probably want to season the entity. Actually gonna shock. Attack you for 4. Down to 8. New spell stutter looks cool. Yeah. This could be Cryptic Command. If I play Ranger, at least, what they're going to probably do is counter... We're going to Anger again. Oh, is this Bolt Bolt? I think we're okay with that, too, because I can Fauna Shaman for Winota. Although they might have, like, Mana Lake or Remand here, though. They're at 8, though. They're so close. So close to dead. I don't have enough mana to Ranger in something else. I don't have enough mana to like go get Gaddock Teague. I think we just go for it. I mean, I think it's very obvious that they have the answer though, but let's leave open mana for the Fauna Shaman in case that's what we want to do instead and go get another Winota. I think we just do it. If they have it, they have it. I think that they do have it. So yeah, instead of swinging all out, I think... Oh no, we have the Winota still in hand, so let's just attack. Let's not tutor. Yeah. Too bad we're at exactly 15 because we shocked earlier. So we are dead if they have the breach, which is a real shame. Have I taken a long break? Yeah, I've had some, you know, real life stuff. Unemployment was one of the things. Family stuff, you know. Like, people go through stuff. I went through some stuff myself. So yeah, I had to take some time off of streaming. But I still enjoy it, and I still enjoy Magic, so we're back. Kind of more in full swing. So good to see you again, Tio Master. We got here. Kill my... Is this Snap Anger? Gonna get Snap Angered here. I would really like to just go get a flyer, honestly. Because I almost have enough permanents. Ooh, there's Veil. Okay, so why don't we... Yeah, why don't we Ranger for Bird, and then we have Veil for... I don't know exactly what. Or actually, I'd rather go get... Oh gosh, Burrington's interesting too, but like... If they have Emmy, I can sack pretty much everything except the creature. Well, how do we deal the last 3 points of damage, though? That's the thing. Oh, no, Gilded Goose is perfect because it's another permanent, yeah. We can sacrifice the food, so I can sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep the Ranger, block with the Goose, kill them with... yeah, that's the plan. So I actually don't think I crack the Ranger to silence them, even though, like, a lot of the time that's what we'll do. We don't need to do that. I mean, obviously they could have... Their 3 cards could be Breach, Emmy... Okay. So they don't have it. So we just win. Awesome. It's good to take a game against them. Oh, what was it that I was thinking? You said they might have Madcap in. That's true. I had everything in that I have as far as like what can shield us from anger. I don't have much. I just basically have Burrington as a Ranger Captain target, and I have Selfless Glyphweaver. We're playing this over Selfless Spirit, not because it's more mana or more toughness or anything of that matter. We're playing it because it's a human, and it's something that Winota can hit. So we're testing this instead of Selfless. So I really only have a couple cards to help us against Anger of the Gods. It is a problem card for us, obviously. Good against us. Yeah, I think that... Oh, we did cut Dryad Arbor. Yeah, and I think I'm supposed to in this matchup, but maybe that's wrong. But I think it's a bit of a liability. I mean, so are the Mana Dorks. These can, like, slow us down. We're expecting them to be So yeah, maybe we should bring in the Masked Vandal because they might be on Madcap. I said that yes, but it's a variant. I mean, I like having a singleton that gets us out of a very real thing that they could be doing. Let me see what we could cut. Ranger is quite good in this matchup. Oh, you know what's weaker in this matchup is the evolutions. Against the blue decks, I usually do cut some number of these. Let's go ahead and cut one. I know it seems counterintuitive to cut like our arguably best card. However, it is considerably weaker against the blue decks, so I think trimming one or more is perfectly reasonable. I might even cut a second one and just play Toski. An uncounterable threat that can draw me a bunch of cards is kind of nice. Although I'm always scared against Breach to like tap out and like try to draw some cards and hope that they're relevant. Maybe we should play this over even the third evolution. Totally get it. Nice to have you back. Yeah, it's good to see you. You have to tell me what you were playing. You're playing these days, T.O. Master, so we can catch up. Did you join the Discord? Because I actually kept the Discord relatively alive during that bit. So we can't keep this because this is just a filter land. I like the filter lands in our list. This hand's actually pretty interesting. I might keep this and put the evolution back. Funny enough, this hand actually might be fine. I'm going to try to lead out Giver, and I'm more interested in the Burrington just due to anger. So let's lead Giver. Maybe Giver will be able to protect the... although Burrington doesn't need protecting, so maybe I still should have led Burrington. So we don't want the Burrington to get countered. Off this Mana Leak, perhaps. I guess if Burrington eats a Mana Leak, it's not the worst. Like, Giver can kind of, you know, subsidize an anger as well, sort of, make it a little bit less horrific for us. So there's, we don't want to play this source because we've just drawn a Spyro. So why don't we, and I might as well just swing with Giver because this is pro-red, so it's not like we're protecting it anyway. Let's just swing with the Giver, actually. I don't know, what are they going to do? Bounce this? So we're building like a nice foundation against, you know, a half-red control deck. Burrington, Giver. This is probably a counterspell, but I think against them I just want to be jamming. Just make them have answers. Because like, there's really not much else for me to do, right, if I'm not jamming the Ranger next turn. So they play Archmage's Charm. Take my Burrington? Take my Giver? Is that what we're doing? So I'm going to sacrifice this. That must mean that they have anger in their hand for them to do that. But there's not much I can do about that. Yeah, I feel like for them to do that with their Archmage's Charm, that's probably what they have. If I want to get us into another red source, I could actually go get like Birds or Gilded Goose here. I think I'll get Birds. A little more sustainable. I will leave Giver back to protect Ranger. And I'm not going to silence them, I think. Madcap. Okay. So we do have outs to this card. I think I'm just playing the bird. And I can block it for a while. Thanks to Giver, as long as we have it. So I could like block with birds, give birds protection from colorless. Botlexus has called it. Good call. Protection from colorless. So I think we just play Toski, because they're just sitting there holding up mana. Does Cryptic tap my team? I mean, if they have Cryptic tap my team, Cryptic tap my team, we die anyway. Um, no, they decide to try to counter an uncounterable spell instead. All right. That seems like a waste. Why not draw a card, tap my team? Did they not read it or something? Oh, we could still very easily lose this, folks. I can just block with Toski. It's indestructible. So that's what we'll do. Ranger is kind of nice against Snapcaster Mage naturally, by the way. They decide not to attack. So Toski has to. I could silence them and get the Winota going. Is that what we want to do? We can fly over with birds. This has to attack anyway, so this will be 2 triggers. We can leave the Giver back. I think we're ready to just do our dex thing. I'm gonna leave this as a Dried Arbor, which it's not anymore, right? Never mind. I may fetch and play the birds in my hand. Well, let's silence them first. I think we just go for it. We may see them cast some spells here. They decide not to. Cool. We've got the green light from our opponent. So let's cast some spells. No, we've liked the Toski from the sideboard on and off. Like, I have played it before this build. Like, I do like it if we have room for it. I think it's quite good, actually. So that has to attack. We'd want to attack with this bird to get our Winota triggers. Let's see what we hit. So there's a Mirror Entity. Ranger's actually quite nice, I think. I'm more interested in the Ranger. I think the extra silences. And please realize I'm just attacking here until we can remove the Empyrean, which this other Winota trigger could do for us. Like, we do have to hit the remove this. We do have to remove this at some point, but I think more silences is what I'm more interested in, actually. And this is also just going to thin out stuff in our deck. I think I will say yes. Sometimes you're not supposed to say yes. Actually, you want to dig deeper into the deck. What we're looking for, if you're wondering, is this is an out to the Platinum Empyrean. We have to make sure this resolves. So again, more silences, more stuff like Giver. Unless we just want more things to fly over the Platinum Empyrean, which would be go get like Gilded Goose, actually. I think, no. I think more Givers is correct. Okay, well, do we keep more Spyros or do we want to keep the Giver? I think I let go of the Giver I just tutored for, actually. Drew a Spellskite. That's good to see. We're going to silence them, right, folks? We're going to draw a bunch of cards. I think we silence them, right? I also just drew Cavern. Because, like, if they have Breach right here, we're wrecked. I'm pretty sure we just silence them, folks. I've got a lot of time on my clock, and we already lost once, so I think I'm going to silence them. I guess if they already have Breach plus Emmy in hand, it doesn't really stop them. I mean, it could also stop them from madcapping into a second Empyrean. I actually still haven't hit... Yeah, I'm going to silence it. And it might be correct for me to silence during our turn instead, but I have the Grand Abolisher that's going to be uncounterable next turn. I don't know, it's hard to say. So what do we need to do? We need to remove the Empyrean. This Toski's looking really, really good. Hold on, let's just make sure we don't make a mistake. Skoos is nice to think about because of Snapcaster Mage. Let's go human. And get this onto the table, shall we? This is coming in after out of our sideboard. We may see them try to Cryptic attack us. Okay, so they can't do anything again. I really don't think they have all that much. So do we want Skoos? Do we just want to attack, see what we hit? I kind of like putting the Skoos and the Spellskite on the table. Maybe I'm more interested in Spellskite than even the Scavenging Ooze. I mean, obviously, are we more scared of the removal or Snapcaster? Actually, I'm more interested in the Snapcaster Mage. Let's tap differently if I can. Green. And this. Let's just play Skoos and leave up 2. We should hit what we're looking to hit now. Let's not hit with the Winota. Let's not do that. Maybe even attacking with Spyro is foolish, but actually I think that's fine. I think it's fine to attack with the Spyro. Let's not attack with the Winota. Obviously, if I hit the Masked Vandal, I'll be kicking myself because we might have killed them with this extra 4 damage because we might hit the Double Striker, which is still in. I have a backup Winota that'll probably be uncounterable. Will be uncounterable. Let's actually just attack all out, and we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks. We're looking 30 cards deep. I think we're gonna hit the out to the Empyrean probably. And I'm actually gonna say no to these Ranger triggers so that we dig deeper into the deck. All right, so we missed there. It's okay. A lot of our humans are already pulled out. There's the Selfless. Definitely want the Glyph Weaver. There's the Masked Vandal we were looking for. So we're going to get that trigger. We're going to get rid of this Empyrean. Awesome. And hey, there's the Blade Historian, and then they're just dead. Awesome. So we win the match. So remember what I was saying earlier, as I said, like we do maybe want to play against other degenerate decks, perhaps. Squirrel for the win. Yeah, the squirrel looked really, really good there, didn't he? I think that could have been a very different game also if they'd had if we had not taken the time to look up the command with spells. Oh no, we ended up losing that game anyway, didn't we? Never mind. The one where no, that was still this game, wasn't it? Where they did the Prismari command stuff, or was that last game? I can't remember now. They're kind of blending together. But for sure, the term where they tried to counter Toski instead of using other relevant modes for the Cryptic was really important for the opponent. All right, good luck and have fun, opponent. This opener seems fine. It's a little bit heavy on givers. This hand really wants the Scavenging Ooze to be important. But I think this hand could grow into something. Obviously, we need to see a second green source for this hand to really shine. And we'll probably have to even consider Eldritching, like the Ooze or Giver. And hey, if this is a matchup where the Skoos is pretty irrelevant, this is what we'll Eldritch. That was a big punt from them. Also well played. Oh, thanks, Jade. With the Bruce Spy well played emote. Oh no, and then they take my my Eldritch off of this Inquisition of Kozilek. What are they playing? The blue black combo? Pusher. This Birds is pretty precious actually because of the way that our hand is shaping up. I think I might slow roll this and just play a Giver. I know that seems kind of weird, but we're light on land. Alright, so they're playing the blue-black control. Maybe I'll play Ooze, actually, instead. This is probably Drown, right? Isn't this Drown? Maybe play Ooze. Man. This is not where I really want to have Evolution. I'd much rather have Fauna Shaman or Winota herself in my hand. Obviously, opponent has just showed us Remand. That makes me think they're a combo deck of sorts. That they're playing Remand. I wonder if they are the deck that I was predicting they were when I saw the Dark Slick, which was... it's like Inverter, and they play the Devotion combo. What about Ancient Ziggurat? The problem with Ziggurat is it doesn't cast Evolution. That's really the only big... It's the same... By the way, Ziggurat has the same issue that Cavern of Souls does. And Cavern, of course, has some of the issues of... Sure, it kind of operates as a Ziggurat, but it doesn't cast this side of our deck, right? Or, what else from our sideboard that needs colors that's non-human? Remorseful is a spirit. Angel. Kithkin. Oof. Squirrel. So, I'm well aware that like maybe a Ziggurat land could be good, but we have a few cards. It's mostly just Evolution's fault that I'm not playing, and I maybe shouldn't even be playing. All right, so they took my bird, unfortunately, but I have Fauna Shaman now. I think that's absolutely what we want to play and try to protect it. So Giver's not attacking. But yes, but like we have considered something like Ziggurat for our creatures. But the fact that it's... Yeah, so I did predict what they were playing correctly. They're playing Oracle. They're playing... it goes by a bunch of different names, but you can just call it Inverter. That's what most people call it, I think. They scryed to the top. Oh, we drew land. Kind of the wrong land, though. It doesn't help us cast Evolution. But it does help us with Winota if that's what we want to go get with our fauna. So I think I'll do this. Land drop, and during their end step, I'll put the Scavenging Ooze in the bin. I actually, in this matchup, I might rather be interested in this than Scooze. But maybe that's wrong. Like, the trampling over actually isn't all that relevant. This might be what I pitch. Actually, I think I will pitch the Wild Bonder, because I could just play out the Ooze and just get another creature on the table that's a non-human. It's actually probably correct to pitch the Wild Bonder. It's not like this is a matchup where I need to trample over. Ooh, Eldrazi Temple. They're playing Thought-Knot Seers, maybe. I assume that their hand at this point is like a Remand, right? So I really don't want to play the Evolution. So let's start getting some Winotas. There's our land, so we could try to go for it here. We need green. We have red already, so any green source is going to work here. Either Stomping or Temple Garden. I think Stomping Ground is the better thing to get. Temple Garden, excuse me, is the better thing to get. So it complements the... It's pretty moot here, actually. They both more or less do the same thing for us. This is probably getting remanded, though. Alright, Omen of the Sea to dig for remand. They might not have. Yeah, but are you casting Evolution when you only have 3 mana anyways? We sometimes bot like. Opt. Yep, still digging for that remand. Put a card on top, so I'm assuming it was a remand or a counterspell if they put it on top. Assuming they hit what they need. Drown. Okay. Yep, I do have 4 cards in my bin, so it does work, unfortunately. I don't gain a whole lot out of trying to hit them for 2. I think I should, though. I really don't need both Givers on defense against their deck. They really just have, like, pushes and drowns. So... let's just get through here. Blue. Did you like the segue? I assume you're pretty much always going to be talking about Garrick. But I do think the utility of Cavern makes it worth the sacrifice. And I have cleaned up the mana base a little bit with these copper lines, but these actually might be worse than the filter lands. I was playing a Reflecting Pool, because that can kind of be second red, second green, or second white source. I was playing the other filter, the other red filter in this color combination, which is Firelit Thicket. That might be better than... certainly better than Cavern, but I want the uncounterable utility. Certainly could be better than the second copper line, but I'm trying 2 copper lines because I'm trying to... I mean, the filter lands also make our mana not as painful. Ooh, so they have the inverter, so we might just be dead here. Let's see if they have the full combo. Such a neat little deck, right? Because it's kind of all in. This is a neat little deck. I wonder how many temples they play. Do they play the playset? I wonder. Just to make Inverter a little easier to cast. Botlik says, take a look at their list. Not right now. I might be interested in after the match. I kind of would rather play it in the Raw. Ooh, we drew Cavern, so that's great. Well, kind of. I mean, I could just get rid of this with, I mean, it's kind of already done what it wants to do. All right, we want to do this through the Cavern. So actually, I have barely enough mana to do this because I pitch Ooze to Fauna. Yeah. Human. I mean, the problem is how am I even getting my triggers off? Am I just going to swing one giver and leave the other giver back? Like, what's our plan, right? That's the problem here. I mean, Skyclave's interesting. Just get rid of the Inverter, but it's kind of already done what they want it to do. I think we just need to go for our Rocket in a Can. Also, Skyclave wouldn't be uncounterable. So I think what we do is we only attack with one giver, right? Or do we just give up a giver to the Inverter, but then the Winota's vulnerable? We have an extra Winota, though. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Do I want one trigger and protect this? 2 triggers, hope to hit, like, Knight. Crazy thinks it's one giver. One giver might be correct, and then we protect it. You hit a Spyro. Okay. Loyalist actually isn't the worst draw in the world. I'm kind of sad to see another land here, but we could turn this into a Winota if they do have removal. So do I want to protect the giver to being killed by the Inverter? I think so, because we can go get another Winota. Unless they have removal for this and this, then, well. I think it might be worth me giving the... And remember, let's not choose black like an idiot. This is devoid and has no color. So I actually want to choose colorless here, because this is a source of colorless damage, not black. This is kill my... Oh, they're scrying, okay. Yeah, it might be incorrect to do this. It might have been correct for me to let this go and keep this open. But I think we're going to be safe to, even if they do remove this Winota with, like, you know, like a fetch and also Fatal Push. No, you look at their exile zone is what I mean. They're face down, though. I mean, we remember what was in their graveyard. I remember what was in their graveyard more or less. There was a Fatal Push. There was a Drown in the Lock. There's an Opt and Remand. So that's what they're looking at. There's only 6 cards left in their library. I think one of them was a Polluted Delta. Maybe not. Oh, Thoughtseize is one of the other cards. So, yeah, there's a Remand, there's an Opt, there's a Thoughtseize that they're looking at. Don't think they played a Polluted Delta, actually. Okay. So let's remember to select colorless and not black. That's a common mistake. Let's not make that common mistake. I don't have a land to drop here, so we'll just kick it back to them. They went 1 top, 1 bottom with their Scry. I mean, by the way, their deck is in the board state that they kind of want to be. I think, right? I don't know. Do they actually not have a way to combo off? Because it's like they didn't have a Thassa's Oracle in their graveyard. I guess there's one unknown card in their hand, but don't they exchange it? Or no, they don't. It's just that their library changes. So since we don't know what their last, what was it, 1 or 2 cards in their hand were, they might have the win in hand. They might have a second Thassa's Oracle. That would make sense for them to go for the inverter as they did. I'm not sure. Or a way to like bounce this and reuse this. I would say it's a safe bet that they still have like the combo kill potential in a turn or two. Because of the opt is why I'm saying that they can. And they also just did another scry, so so Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. Yeah, they're really tanking over there. I wonder what they're thinking about. They have Drown. Drown could kill a Giver. What are they doing? Played an Island. Drown my Winota. Yep. They have 1 card in hand. This is another inverter, it looks like. So if they do this, their deck is just going to become Omen Drown. So it looks like they're on the I'm going to beat you down with 6/6 Flyers plan, which is a relevant sideboard plan. I mean, a relevant plan B. 4 mana 6/6 Flyers. I'm going to go down to 11 here, so I kind of have to kill them here. And oh boy, we drew another dud. Kind of drew another dud, didn't I? I might even shock in the Stomping Ground, as weird as that seems, because if I hit more Spyros and I hit like a Birds or Giver, I mean a Birds or a like the best things that I can hit are actually things that I could cast off the Stomping Ground. I'll show you real quick. Like there's 3 Birds and 2 Gilded Goose still in the deck. There's 3 Spyros still to hit. I could also hit a Ranger Ranger Captain of Eos, which would let me tutor for these, and I would probably go get Gilded Goose, and then that can block an inverter. I have to block an inverter. They do have the Drown still in their deck, though, so... Anyway, so we have to get Winota, and I think I will shock this in. I'll leave Temple Garden open, actually, instead of Stomping Ground. Actually, I didn't need a shock then. I could have played the Sunbaked if I was going to leave back this land. In retrospect, I think it's going to be okay, though. Make it uncounterable. Although that's irrelevant because their hand is Zilch. And we have to just get the extra triggers because I have to hit like the life gain creature, or I think we're okay if they get to eat up a Giver here. I think we're okay with this. I have 1 more Winota in the deck that I can go get with Fauna Shaman. Potentially. Obviously, I have to have a creature. Alright, so Ranger, we will tutor. Let's go get the Gilded Goose, like I was planning. We might lose it here to the... Oh, okay, cool. Heron's Grace. Easy peasy. So if we get that, we will gain back how much life? We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, since it says other. Yeah, let's just gain 10 life. That seems good. Perfect. Kenrith. Oh, now I'm sad that I didn't leave open a red source. Yeah, Kenrith would have been a reason for me to go with leaving open Stomping Ground. I forgot about the Kenrith. I think Kenrith is what I want, because if I go with Spyro, we lose the Gilded Goose. Let's go Kenrith. I'm a little sad that I didn't leave open the Stomping Ground. I forgot that we're playing with Kenrith now, and I think it could have been lethal. It's too bad that we didn't see the Heron's Grace after the Kenrith. He would have been a 6/6 lifelinker, but I think we're happy with these being painted with lifelink. It's a pretty healthy lifelink attack. So I'm going to block here, okay. They're going to block the Kenrith, okay. Yeah, the trample could have been relevant. We were missing out on some damage there. So we go back up to 19. Solid. Am I supposed to silence them before they draw? I might. I'm trying to think. What are their last two cards? They already played the drown. So what's left? There's opt and there's. Yeah, I guess we'll silence them. Yeah, I don't think they had anything left. I think their deck just didn't have anything left because we were watching relatively close what they had in their graveyard when they started doing the. I feel like they may have played their inverter early or something. I think they were like, all right, I'm on the beatdown plan. This guy doesn't have any flying blockers, and then we had Goose. But this isn't a matchup really for Grace or the trample package. To be perfectly honest, they don't really have a ton of blockers. Like yes, they have inverters. But the inverters are big enough that I have to have Wild Bonder plus either. Well, we certainly cut this. If I need to swing through inverters, I have to have this plus one of these give everything trample effects, which both of these do. Kenrith's first ability gives everything trample. Legion Loyalist, as long as it attacks and two other creatures attack, everything I have has trample. So that's how you can swing through. It's kind of I thought this was a meme at first, but this has just become more or less what we're doing. Madness of the Moon is okay, but they're really only two colors. Their mana's a bit. It looks like their mana's a bit on the greed side with like the temples and such, but they play. There's like a 2-drop artifact that they play, so I think we'll play Teague because it turns off Jace. Let's cut the Skoos, although Skoos is funny because when they go to flip their graveyard with their deck, you can like pull out the relevant cards. I think that's too small, so we're not going to do that. Revoker also turns off Jace, although it doesn't stop Jace from being a win condition. Let's see, Masked Vandal's interesting. Oof. Veil of Summer, they do have some permission, and all of their removal this stops. All of their removal is going to be black removal. Abolisher's fine because it helps us to fight over both their removal and also their permission simultaneously. Cleric is actually better in that regard. Like, Cleric actually just straight up messes with the... it makes their library 0 cards, right? Because this is remove all cards from their graveyard. Actually, that's kind of a funny thing I didn't think about. Apparition could stay because it hits Jace. 2 more cards. What do we want? There's Spellskite. There's Revoker for Jace. Not really that interested. I'd almost rather play like Toski even. They do have some artifact mana. So Oof is interesting to think about. But let's play maybe Skoos and Toski. That can't be Skoos, right? That takes too long to pick at their graveyard. So maybe we play the Loyalist because it's easy to tutor for it. Now let's just play the Spellskite. Just protect. They do have quite a bit of black removal. Let's just play the Spellskite. Speaking of Spellskite, I think this hand's fine. This is Spellskite into Spyro, which is best card in our deck. So, granted, they might have an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize, but we took game 1, so I think it's fine. Copper Line. Okay, okay. One of these can be a Dryad Arbor, perhaps. It's funny. It's really funny to be playing with Magic Online sounds again. Like I said, I did a fresh install of Moto today. You know, cleaned out the cache. Alright, so this might be a remand for my Spellskite, but that's okay. It was kind of a weird game last game, wasn't it, folks? Just an opt, actually. Inquisition. Take Spyro. My hand is much worse. Yep. Seems good. Seems correct. I might even play the Mirror Entity next turn, honestly. If they take Spyro, which I'm pretty sure they will. That's the thing, right? So we could try to compare this list to Yogg. To like Yogg Chord, or whatever you want to call it, Yogg Moth combo. The thing is yes, they have better tutors than us, because they have Chord and they also play Eldritch. But like, the cool thing about Winota, again, and this is not me saying this is better than comparing it to Yogg, but something that's neat is not only do we have the same number, theoretically, of redundant pieces of Winota in the 12, we've also got the playset of Pyros, which is just a really good modern card on its own, and digs us to these 12 cards. You don't actually have that in the Yogg combo. So again, I'm not trying to make an argument that this is better than Yogg. I think the Yogg combo is better because they don't have to attack to kill. And there's lots of synergies, and there are a lot of people that have worked on that deck. I'm merely saying this deck is a lot more redundant than it might look like on the surface because the Peasies let you draw to this 12. Anyway, so we drew Toski. That's pretty insane. I might even just want to go get Dryad Arbor instead of play out the Mirror Entity. I think that might be better, actually. It's like if they have Remand, I might even just crack the Windswept and just replay the... Yeah, so I think this is reasonable. And that'll be another creature for Toski next turn. We'll get a basic. Aha. Alright. So this looks like Inverter. Oh wow, so do they just have the combo in hand? They're gonna make their deck opt Inquisition. Yep, and we're sitting here hoping to play a longer game, but it looks like we're gonna lose. I wish I had a way to like exile the graveyard right there. Yep, so their deck is opt Inquisition. So I think we just lose unless I draw certain things. Magus of the Moon isn't a way for us to win. Stop them from casting the other thing in their hand, the other piece of the combo. It's not in right now. Yeah, I mean we had like a protective hand, right? With this going on, we had a grindy hand thanks to Toski, but I just am not going to interact with the combo if they just have it like this. Need to like somehow blow up one of their blue sources, and we did used to play a Singleton Avalanche Riders because it complemented the Magus of the Moon. That might be a consideration to add back into the deck, perhaps, because they complement one another. Of course, Magus of the Moon shutting off all the non-basics and Avalanche. The thing is I'm not playing any Flicker stuff anymore, though. We used to play things like Charming Prince, and you could like reuse the Avalanche Rider. So now that we're not playing, Charming Princes anymore, maybe that's not the direction. That's just too bad. I don't know what we could possibly draw. Like what is our out to them just having it next turn? I don't even know. I don't think there is an out, really, sadly. Like, even if I was to draw the Winota right there or a tutor, The thing is if I play Toski, it doesn't even do anything yet. Because I don't have an attacker that can get through the inverter. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have fetched. I didn't need to. So I think I'm just playing the mirror entity, right? So I could get a duel tapped. Yeah, I think we're just dead. I mean, in a funny twist of fate, maybe they don't have the Jace or the I can't imagine that that's the case since they lost game 1 to trying to be on this plan. So yeah, we just didn't get there. We can demonstrate that we know that we can kill our own creatures with mirror entity because that's always, you know, comedic gold. Show me blue source Jace. Show me Thassa's Oracle. Either way. Inquisition just to see what's up. This trigger will win the game. Just for fun. This is like me conceding. Fun things with mirror entity, you can like sneak under ensnaring bridges potentially. Alright, they win. So let's just do our thing a little bit more fast. I mean, like, their mana is pretty greedy. I wonder if Magus was supposed to stay in. Seriously. Like, they do have quite a few non-basics, even though they're a 2-color deck. I think the Toski's just too slow, guys. I don't know. Like, it seemed really good against our Breach opponent, but it's like... I just don't know. Eldritch is also a little vulnerable in this matchup because they do have some permission. Maybe... That's what we did against our last opponent, too. We cut some number of evolutions. Toski's too slow. I know, but like we did even use it to some effect against our Breach opponent, but we had some relevant disruption, too, against our Breach opponent, which I don't think I disrupt. I just don't. This list that we're up against, I just don't really... I mean, we're a Naya deck, so we really don't disrupt, right? We just have, like, hate bears. But, yeah, I probably should have had Magus of the Moon, and it actually would have cut them off of their Wombo there. And if we get it off soon enough, we can certainly cut them from some stuff. I think I am still going to run Toski, but I do see what you're saying, Corpsey. This opener is a little awkward, but if it draws a green source, it's good. If it draws a second red source, it's very good. So I'm actually going to play it. But we need to draw into that stuff. So we'll see if we do. I maybe should have looked at a 6, though, because like this might not get there. Because like what would you take if you're my opponent and you turn 1 Inquisition, right? You maybe take the Seasoned Pyroman, right? Like this is me kind of at the mercy of the top of our deck having a 3rd land. Oh, okay. Blood Chiefs. Yep. On a Shaman. Alright. Yeah, I don't think I should have kept this, actually. And I am running fewer lands than before. Like, what if the deck is just like, here you go, here's a land Bruce Spy, but you didn't specify which one you need, and they give us, like, the Dryad Arbor, the Singleton Arbor. Oh, boy. Sleight of Hand. Hang on one sec, guys. Well, I mean, who knew that we, you know, can't break through the board state of Soul Sisters, right? I knew that actually. I would imagine this is tough for us because their deck operates on a very unique axis that, yeah, I mean, stops us from being able to. I mean, like you saw us do the funny, wild bonder stuff there, right? But I couldn't kill them from 72. I put them to 30 something, but it was just too much. Maybe I was supposed to hang back on one of my flyers. I have no idea. I don't know how we're supposed to beat that board state. All right. You're listening to a 40k novel, and then I'm back. All right, so we do need the trample package here. It's a little bit bigger now, but we actually almost needed the life gain there more than the Forerunners, right? I guess either would have done it. The Forerunners actually would have maybe killed them because we had so many threats, and I was really hoping to spike it, but we shuffled off of the Ranger. Anyway, so let's run the full trample package. So it's these four, excuse me. These two also are kind of anthem effects for us. Let's cut Ooze. Let's not cut any of our tutors. We just want to do the thing. Magus goes. I think like 1-for-1 removal against them really isn't worth it against the Soul Sister deck. They're kind of like us in that all the different pieces work together. Although, unlike us, like what do we do with this? We exiled a Porphyros. I mean, we would have died a lot faster, but yeah, they're kind of the sum of their parts. Ferocydon's great in this matchup. They just can't gain life. That seems perfect. We might even need a tutor for that. It's because their deck is built around, of course, gaining life. Auric Champion seems good. We'll gain life as they do their thing. Also protection from red. Maybe that's relevant. Maybe this is wrong. Favor of the Mighty could be good. We go bigger than them mana-wise, or CMC-wise. This is an interesting card to think about. What else is interesting? Burrington is interesting. So yeah, I like Favor. I like Spellskite. Masked Vandal has stuff it can hit, right? Porphyros. They probably don't run that many Porphyros, though. Like, like if I'm cutting Skyclave, I don't think I would want Vandal. New Island Vala, probably not. So yeah, either Favor or Spellskate. I think I'm just going to play Favor. We go bigger than them. Most decks in the format we go bigger than. We maybe don't need Ranger, but I think the Loyalist is important. So let's keep it in. Let's run it like this. I think we can beat their deck. I think that they're more like the grindy synergy deck. I'll keep this. It's got the Frostodon in the opener. So we're going to lead out on, obviously, since we have 2 planes, I'm going to get Stomping Ground here. Kick it back to our opponent. Sure. Now, do we want to accelerate out the Ferocydon? Probably. Or do we want to get a Fauna Shaman online sooner? Maybe I want to get a Fauna Shaman online sooner. The problem is though, yeah, if I Ferocydon, I lose the food, and the food could get the Winota on the table faster. I actually think I'm going to go Fauna Shaman instead of Ferocydon. Let's get our engine rolling before I play the hate card. Another Warden. Bolt my Shaman. That would have been a bolt on my Ferocydon. So I think I'm happy with how I sequenced. If I Ranger, I get a land drop. That's probably correct. For next turn, though, so... But we want to make sure we get our land drops. Maybe I'll go Ferocydon, then Arbor. Tremors, okay. So yeah, maybe we want to go Ferocydon, Arbor. We will take a point of damage there. I'll swing for 3. Genesis, huh? That actually might be really helpful for us, by the way. We've even considered building a Winota deck playing Chamber. Funny enough. So we'll make a mirror. Now, scary enough, like the Ferocydon's actually kind of scary because we can sometimes kill ourselves with all the Winota triggers, so we do need to be aware of that. Like with all the spiraling and stuff that we can do. Maybe I need to make more food or start cracking food. Well, no, I can't gain life. Never mind. I mean, it might still be correct for me to make food just so that this has access to mana. Maybe I should even just get in with the Arbor because, like, that's how we lose, right? Oh, yeah, let's just give our team first strike. So, like, they could double block the Legion Loyalist, though. I'd be okay if they double block the Arbor, right? I don't really need this anymore. Nah, let's just attack with... Let's just make the sensible attacks. Let's be sensible. Really do need to win this second game against them. They're going to block one. Okay. Who knows? Maybe they'll kill the Ferocydon and then we can start gaining life off our food. Because, I mean, like, this is stopping a really important aspect of their deck. We just need to be aware that I could kill myself because of Genesis Chamber plus the fact that we put a lot of creatures on the table. So let's keep that in mind. They're going to take some damage, though. And this is my last game of the night, guys, because I said that I had a board game thing tonight. It starts in about 15 minutes. But it's been fun. I appreciate you guys staying through the phone call. Yeah, this has been an interesting night. All right, so let's go ahead and make a food token because you never know, they might kill the Ferocydon. Oh, we just draw a Winota. Cool. So yes, we'll take some damage here. But yeah, Legion Loyalist is great against these mirror tokens. So let's go to combat and swing all. I think. Just making sure. All right, let's put the Legion Loyalist trigger on the bottom of the Winota stack, and we're going to look through our deck, and we're going to grab all the things. So I am more interested in the Wild Bonder. And we already have Trample, so we've already achieved the combo. We can swing through their blockers, and this should be lethal. Although now I'm at 6, so... Maybe I don't get to grab all these things, right? Because like that's the thing, is the Ferocydon is actually putting us pretty low. So they're at 15. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we already have lethal. It's whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control. So we actually don't need any more creatures, right? Couldn't I just say no to the rest of these Winota triggers? I mean, it might be correct still to grab Kenrith, but... Because I'm taking 2 damage each time I grab something, so we will say no to some of these. The Auric Champion won't gain me life anymore. So I guess we're just done. So we're going to say no to the rest of these triggers. Because we would die to the Ferocydon, so we'll say no, no, no. 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 So we got there. Yeah, that was fascinating, right? Like the Ferocydon. Thank goodness this is a May, right? Like it'd be crazy if it like forced us to pick a card each time, right? What did they show us? They showed us a removal spell, right? They bolted my Fauna Shaman. Do we want to play Spellskite? I don't know what we would play it over. Maybe Ranger Captain. It's really important though that we find the Loyalist, right? Like we needed to swing through their tokens. We needed to swing through. We needed to turn on the Wild Bonder. I think for the same reason we're playing Favor, maybe we do want to swap out a Ranger for Skite. Let's run it back. That was a pretty big Colligan's Forerunners, right? It was like 14, a 14-3. This is a pretty easy mulligan. I think we could keep this. Keep and tuck the champion? I mean, I know it's a reasonable card in this matchup, but I think all the other pieces are more important. And we'd rather pull it out of the deck with a Winota trigger anyway. Like seeing Foundry do nothing. I think we just need to be playing Spyro next turn. So let's forego. I mean, if they have the bolt for the Gilded Goose, they have the bolt. I think we want to be playing Spyro next turn, if possible. And they're playing their own champions. Yep, makes sense. So Prairie. Speaking of Spyro, so we keep the Fauna Shaman, right? Because we need to get to the Winota. But I do think I want to make the Elementals. Even though it's tempting to keep this other Spyro, I think we'll do that. We draw an evolution anyway. We have a green source. So we're doing our thing. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, Winota. It's pretty good. They might have like a Path to Exile, of course, but maybe they'll tap out again for us. We see Lieutenant. I mean, they've shown us so far that they seem to favor Lightning Bolt over Path. Is he going to swing? Sure. I think we just go for it. Like, sure, they might have exactly Path, but I think we should just go for it. We have a way to get to the Winota. Granted, it's going to be pretty slow if they do. This is that awkward moment where I really do need to grab the Temple Garden or the Stomping Ground because I have Rugged Prairie. It's a little awkward. Looks like they do have the Path to Exile. Like I said, if they have it, they have it. We were hoping that they didn't, but they did. This is going to grow next turn almost assuredly, so we might as well get in for 2. We could have taken a slower line that involved Giver at some point. We could have taken a slower line that involved Fauna Shaman. But, like, that's why we lost game 1, right? Is because we didn't do our thing fast enough. So I think I'm supposed to make the decisions I did this game and just go for speed and just hope they don't have it. But they did. And maybe we lose now. This is a whole lot of triggers. Mm-hmm. No good blocks. We'll just take it. So what's unfortunate is I have to consider keeping Giver in my hand because we need to have something to pitch to the Fauna. You haven't seen Soul Sisters? Yeah, me neither. I have not seen them in a long, long, long time. Like, there's a reasonable chance what I draw off the top is a creature. And that we maybe should just, like if I do the math, if I don't play this other Giver, do we just not have a shot? Like, will we just not have enough triggers? Do I just have to hope to peel a creature? Because, like, how are we blocking? I'm at 7, so we have to block the bigger Lieutenant. Maybe even the other Lieutenant, depending on how they draw, what they have in their hand. I don't think I really can justify playing the other giver in my hand. Like, it's tempting to and just hope to spike another creature off the top to pitch to get Winota, but I don't think I should do that. But we really have no good blocks. I mean, they're all chumps. So we pretty much just block exactly... And if they have Bolt, we're just dead. I don't think I can afford to block and compensate for Bolt. Like, I pretty much have to, like, do this kind of a block, I think. Like, we do have a free-ish block on the Soul Warden, too, right? Like, if it's like you throw Giver and Goose under, and they have to pick one or the other, they probably kill the Giver. But they can't kill both. That would make it so we're not dead to Lightning Bolt. Is that what we want to do? Make it so we're not dead to Bolt? But then I have not enough triggers probably to win. So I think if they have Bolt, we'll just let them win here. I think I just need that many triggers. So if they had a Path Bolt draw, so be it. So we did end up drawing a creature. It's kind of sad, right? I think I'd actually rather have Goose than the Giver. Right? I'm just as likely to draw Forest as I am Plains, though, at this point. But Goose flies. I mean, it's pretty even. But like, what are these triggers going to have to be? Should this Winota actually stay on the table, right? Like, she's a blocker, but we're taking the... I mean, I have no idea what these... This is, again, a board state where we would have to have Champion in, right? Maybe. There's the Bonder, but they gain life. I mean, yeah, I think we were just bested. And that's okay, right? Because, like, our little combo, our little synergy actually really, really helps my opponent's deck, right? Like, we're having a lot of things interplay. We're gaining them a lot of life. I think it's just kind of a funny happenstance that our deck kind of helps their deck, and not really the saddest at all about losing 20, well, technically 15 play points to see that it looks like we have a pretty poor matchup against exactly, you know, Boros Soul Sisters deck. It's quite alright. It's quite alright. I think I'm okay with that being the case. Good games. Like, if that's our arch nemesis, I'm quite okay with that being the nemesis deck. Or it's also like Mill, right? Like, I've time and time again, like, we've put and then taken out a sideboard card for that matchup, and it's just like I'm fine with that. That's more so like the prevalent nemesis, I would say, of decks like mine, that like as we get milled, we start to, it's hard for me to cobble together like some of our damage, right? Like, they mill over the Entity and the Blade Historian and the Forerunners. It's like I've lost some of my biggest damage dealers, or like the Kenrith, right? So, you know, against decks like Mill, against decks like what we just played against, I'm fine with that being the things that just like destroy us, because they're not nearly as common, right? Like, it's really okay to have a few matchups in Modern where it's like you don't bother wasting sideboard space. And I don't think the timely reinforcements would have been all that much better than the Auric Champion. So I think I'm okay with this change. I mean, when your deck is a living meme anyway, I think it's funny to like even have those discussions of like, ooh, like we need to make sure we can beat Mill. We need to make sure we can beat Soul Sisters. Anyway, we'll see if Mill gets more popular, right? There's that new card coming out in Modern Horizons. Somebody was telling me that I hadn't seen the newest spoilers, and they were right. I hadn't seen Subtlety yet. This is really cool. I wonder what else is going to be on the cycle of this, what other colors. I wonder if they're going to give all the different colors something like this. So there's Grief, and now there's Subtlety. Subtlety, flash flying elemental incarnation for 2/2 and 2 blue. Sorry, 2 colorless, 2 blue. When this enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature spell or planeswalker spell. its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Now, because it says spell, it's on the stack. So you do need to do it when it's on the stack, but that's really, really neat. It's fascinating. Exile a blue card from your hand to do the evoking. This is really, really. Some of these are just like really cool, and they're gonna see play. These cards, so that's really neat. I wonder what else is a thing. Oh, there is a few new cards. Okay, hey, let's look at these briefly. So, let me bring this over so you guys can see all the cards. Or I could even switch which interface we're in. There we go. So, there we go. So, chance encounter. Whenever you flip a coin, whenever you win a coin flip. So this is a reprint because it's got the Odyssey watermark. Put a luck counter on chance encounter at the beginning of your upkeep. If chance encounter has 10 or more luck counters, win the game. Underworld Hermit makes squirrels. Okay. I like how they got this squirrel thing going on. That's funny. Chatterstorm is squirrel tokens with storm. That's funny. Kind of an Empty the Warrens kind of feel. Draykeeper. Huh. Yeah, Subtlety is sweet. Shenanigans is getting a reprint. Monoskelion. 1 mana, remove a counter, deal 1 damage. Huh. That's no Walking Ballista, but it kind of alludes to it. So shiny. Enchant creature. When so shiny enters the battlefield, if you control a token, tap enchanted creature, then scry 2. Enchanted creature doesn't untap. They're really trying so hard to make this mechanic work, aren't they? The tap and it doesn't untap. Tribute Mage got a reprint. This is a reprint from, what is that, Nemesis? Yeah, that's the Nemesis symbol. Instant, if an opponent controls an island and you control a mountain, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost, destroy an artifact without having to pay mana cost if they have an island and we have a mountain. Fascinating. Chef's Kiss, gain control of target spell that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it, then select the targets at random for the spell in the copy. The new targets can't be you or a permanent you control. This card is really cool, actually. It's a lot of mana, though. Kind of like a weird red redirect, reverberate kind of an effect. This is fun. Zabas, the Glimmer Wasp. Modular. Oh, a new modular card. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more 1/1 counters on a creature, put that one plus 1 1/1 counters instead. Destroy an artifact you control. Zabas gains flying. This is a cool little card. Maybe we'll see even like I feel like since it's got modular and like adds counters, we could see this in even without the other two abilities really being relevant. We could see this being played in modern oh, I just played against it the other day. Come on. Hardened Scales. There we go. Is that a common storm card? Yeah, it'll probably get banned in Pauper. Jade, that's very perceptive of you. Yeah, it's common rarity, so it might get banned in the Pauper format. I think I've seen all of these already. Kitchen Imp. Flying, haste, and has madness. Huh. Grist is fascinating. People were talking about how Grist is a planeswalker that you'll be able to collect a company into. Yeah, as long as Grist, the Hunger Tide, isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. So instead of saying legendary planeswalker, blah, 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 it'll say, insect creature. Or it's a creature insect, and it is, a 1/1. Fascinating, right? Fascinating. Its abilities, though, aren't all that great, but I think it's fascinating that we have a planeswalker that's not a planeswalker. Like, it is, but it's not. It's kind of fascinating. Its abilities aren't all that great. I think the sacrifice a creature when you do destroy a creature or planeswalker is the best thing about it, obviously. And it's only 3 mana. Like, it's a 3 mana planeswalker. So, I mean, like, of course, I don't think I'm assessing it properly. Like, I'm like, that's not that great. Like, I'm sure it's very good. It's like you can get it with Green Sun. You can collect a company into it. You can, we could even, you can Eldritch Evolution into it. So that's about it for new cards. We've talked about all the other ones, and I did say that I have an appointment at 10, so I'm going to get going. And, yeah, I enjoyed streaming the Winota shenanigans for you guys again. The deck is coming along. I think us weaning ourselves off of the life gain anthem boost or whatever card is maybe correct, and just committing more to the trample package. Now our trample package is 4 cards. Four runners just because it's a huge trampling human on its own. Well, not on its own. It's this is like a sum of the parts kind of build of Winota, where we're hoping to assemble some combination of Wild Bonder and either Kenrith or Loyalist, but we could also just see the Forerunners, right? And the Bonder sneaks the Forerunners through. So I think really our deck looks like this, where it's this card plus all these synergy pieces. And then the Legion Loyalist, of course, isn't a human, which Winota gets. It's actually a 1-drop that Ranger Captain of Eos can go fetch for us. So that's kind of the redundancy for all the different... Either giving everything that we have trample, or we are, and that's Kenrith's first ability, all creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. Or we just have creatures that already have trample on them and just trample over and can kind of sneak underneath our opponent's blockers. Entity, of course, just to make our team huge. We have some 0-power creatures that would really benefit from Mirror Entity, so that's why I'm still running it. I think we've been on and off about this card. And then, of course, Blade Historian. This is just overall the strongest anthem that we've been happy with. It's a little awkward because we have several green sources, but I am playing some filtering. We're not playing the right filtering anymore, of course. If we want to filter into hard casting this off of our forest, we would need to be playing Firelit Thicket. I think I do want to bring the Firelit Thicket back over the second Copperline Gorge already. After that league, I think there were several spots where we kind of would have rather had the filter. And I think the filter lands are going to be a little bit better in this deck than the first Reflecting Pool. So let's actually just go back to the 2 of filter. Let's still greedily be running the Cavern and these 2, the Sunbaked and the Horizon Canopy. It's really greedy, but I think it's okay if we're a little bit greedy with our mana base. It's not like we could be playing any Triomes or anything. Yeah, Jufro, good to see you. How's it going? Well, all right, guys. I'm going to head out, and I'm going to play some D&D with a dear friend of mine. And, yeah, we're actually playing a specific build of D&D, like a pre-constructed kind of feel. It's... what is the name of it? It's Castle Ravenhold. If you guys have ever played that. I don't know if you guys knew this, but due to a podcast that I'm producing with some friends of mine, I'll just link it to you guys in the chat. I went from not playing D&D at all to now I've been playing it for about 3 years, actually, and we've got a family-friendly... it's a story-focused D&D 5th edition, but we do have combat, and combat sometimes is the focus of the story depending on what's going on in the show. But give that a listen if you guys like podcasts. You might like it. It's a little bit more of getting to listen to me if you like me and you like my personality and my content. So thank you guys for coming, and I wonder if there's any other interesting Twitch content out there tonight. Let's see if there's some other modern streamers. Maybe I can point you guys in the direction of something. Aldrazitron is dead? Probably not. Ooh, this looks interesting. What is this? What is this? I see... Oh, is this like a Veil of... Or not... Oh, what is it? Maybe they're playing... They're playing a Yorion... Yorion's Crazy Discount Dryad. Hang on, let's take a look.
I'm assuming they're going to play Ox of Agonis on this turn. We're just going to counter it, and then the game is going to be...
I want to see the deck list. Show me the deck list. There we go. Yeah. Expansion Explosion? Bunch of Valakut's, Dryads. Okay, so we're just trying to do the Valakut thing. This looks sweet, actually. When I saw Emporium, I thought Empyrean, but it's not. It's Emporian. And, yeah, we're a Yorion deck. Fascinating. This looks like really fun. I'm going to send you guys to this streamer because this looks like a sweet list. So say hi for me to Mana Symbol. And I'll see you guys on the next show. Maybe we'll have some more brews or Winota. Well, which is a brew. Just been doing well. Celebrated your 2-year wedding anniversary with a wife. Had a blast at the Indianapolis. Is that the Indianapolis Zoo? Indy Zoo? That's awesome, Jufro. Actually, let's raid. Go ahead and hit that button. Go ahead and click that button. Let's go say hi to our fellow modern Magic Online streamer, Mana Symbol. I'll see you guys over there.
I guess it wouldn't mean much. Hey, Bruce Guy, the magic guy with that party of 8.
You can run, but you can't glide.
Bruce Guy, I've always wanted to ask you, is inertia a property of magic?
Side effects may include dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, water retention, painful rectal itch, dementia, psychosis, coma, death, and halitosis. Magic is not for everyone. Consult your doctor before use.
Do that. Or your local science guy. Or magic guy, as the case may be. It's a heck of a question. I think it's a very important question. We all know inertia is a property of matter. But what say we? What say we of inertia being a property of magic? Think about how tempo is so important, how magic functions as a quotient of fun. I don't know what half those words mean, but I trust your magic words. I like your funny words, Magic Man. Roy, of course, will be one of the few people who understands that quote, but... I don't want to counter this. What happens when the unstoppable object meets the immovable force? Layers. No, I think this is fine, because I'm about to cast... Yes, it was in fact Clone High. Joe Chaney is a hero. You are a god among men. Alright. Leyline this. JFK and the Pusher. Yep. Played by Jack Black. 100%. I wonder if they're going to have Nature's Claim right here. Gosh, that would suck.
All right, guys.
Nope.
Thanks for heading over there in the raid. And you have a nice night. Later.
I'm the Pusher.